when you get ready to graph a piecewise function, notice this one has two parts or two pieces. So your graph's going to have these two distinct graphs. Sometimes they meet and sometimes they don't. Okay, here's the thing. This part only works when x is greater than or equal to 0. So when I try to find different points, I'm only going to plug in values that are greater or equal to 0. I'm going to start with this value. So notice if I plug in 0, out pops 2. So that looks like this. This is the point 0.02. I pick a number 0, plug it in, and what comes out is your y value. So I have the point 0.02. So I'm going to come over here and graph it. But since you can technically equal 0, when I come over here and graph this, this would be a filled in point right here. Okay. Now I would try one more value if you must, but anything greater or equal to 0, anything. You could pick a half. Okay, you could pick 100. You pick anything you want greater than 0. You're the one that has to graph it, so let's keep it simple. But if I choose 2, because that's greater than 0, come over here and plug it in. 2 plus 2 is 4. So I'm going to have the point 24. So here's the point 24 right there. So there's another point. So what you're going to end up having is this line, okay, that keeps going on forever and ever. You're going to want an arrow on the end, because I could technically plug in 1,000,000. Okay, it never stops. There is no limit here. All right, so that's part of the graph. Now, one thing nice is there is multiple choice on here. So if you go over here, and I'm going to come over here to my screen, and I'm going to look real quick. That one's not going to be it, because notice it doesn't even look what I have so far. That could possibly it. I think they're going up by 2s right there. So maybe that one, and maybe that one. And no, doesn't look like that one either. So I'm already down to, it's either going to be B or C. All right, so let's come back over here and let's look at this one. Now, I know that I'm only going to plug in values less than 0, but this is crazy. You're still going to plug in this value. If you plug in 0, 1/6 times 0 is 0. So you have the point 0.00, but since you technically can't plug in 0, when you come over here to this point 0.00, instead of it being a closed point, you would do an open point right here. Okay, so I bet that's going to give you enough already to pick out the right graph, but go ahead and pick out something less than 0. And honestly, you can pick out anything you want. You're the one that has to graph it. I would pick -6, only because when I plug that in there, I'm going to get a nice number to graph, because 1/6 of -6 is a -1. Use your calculator if that bothers you. But notice if I go -6, gosh, my eyes are getting old, and I would be right there. But you can see you're going to have this line that goes something like this. So when I go over here and I look at my choices, look at that. It's going to be that one right there. It's going to be choice B. You can see that? Okay. How is it not? Where was the other one? C? You can just tell by the two differences of what I graphed that that's what it looks like. So it would be B. So I'm going to choose B.